In the last video, I spoke about the three states of matter, and I said that in a solid, the particles stay in one place, the particles are tightly packed, and they can barely move, they just kind of vibrate in its spot. In a liquid, the particles move around a lot more. There are fewer of them, and they're able to move around a lot more. And then in a gas, there are even fewer of them in one space. They're really, really spread out, and they're able to move a great deal. Today, I'm going to talk about changes in states of matter. So changes of states of matter. All right, so a couple things to remember about how matter changes from one state to another is that heat equals energy. All right, so when you heat something up, what you're doing is really adding a lot of heat energy to it. And that energy will make things move. All right, so the more energy you have, the more movement you're going to have. And I think you can kind of understand that. And to help you understand that, let me show you some pictures that can kind of illustrate what I'm talking about. So here you have a picture of somebody that has very little energy, right? And that person is not moving at all. And so here's another picture of someone that has very little energy or very little energy left, and that little person is not moving at all. Here's another one where the people have a little bit more energy and they're moving a little bit, and we have a family for a jog, so they have a little bit more energy and they're moving. If we had a picture of a group of people with even more energy than that, then we might have something like this where the children are running. And if we had someone with even more energy, then we might have something like that with a really, really, really fast runner. And if we could add even more energy, then we might have something like this, where we have the fastest animal on the planet in the cheetah. So what you see here is how, let's see, this person might be a good example of a solid, where the particles are really tightly packed. They don't have a lot of energy, so they're kind of sitting still. They're not really moving. So this would be a solid. And then the next one would be, I bet you guessed it, would be an example of a liquid, where the particles are spread out a little bit more. They have a little bit more energy, and they're traveling a little bit more freely. And then finally, this one, let's see, let me pick a color. This one would be a gas. A gas where the particles are really spread apart and really moving. So here we have low energy, we have high energy, and I guess we can say we have medium energy. And to give you kind of a more of an illustration of that, let me pause the video and I'll show you a little game that I have online. Okay, so this isn't actually mine. This is just something that I found on the internet. And here we have the little particles arranged, and if you remember, it's forming a solid, right? Because the particles are tightly packed together and they're just vibrating around. Now, if I add heat to it, remember we're adding energy to it. If I add heat to it, it's going to get energized, and all these little particles are going to want to move around more and more and more, and they're going to break apart. So if I add heat to it, they want to move around and they break apart. And so now this is an example of the particles moving around a little bit more, and that would be in a liquid. So most of them are just kind of moving around down here like a liquid would. And then if I add more heat to it, then they're really going to move around, and they're going to fly around in that container. And they're really full of energy, and they're really full of movement, and you see them in the form of a gas. And that would be them as a gas. Okay? So as a solid, it would look like that. And then we give it a little bit more energy, a little bit more heat, and we have something like that. And then if we really give it a lot of energy, then we have a gas, and we have something like that. So again, if we have a solid, that's where the particles have very little energy and they're not moving. But if we heat it up, then we can melt that solid and turn that into a liquid, where those particles have more energy and they spread out more. And then if we add more heat to it, they're going to spread out even more, and that matter is going to turn into a gas. So we can change from a solid to a liquid to a gas, and we can go the other way too. We could change from a gas to a liquid to a solid. So there you go. 3 states of matter, and how heat is energy, and how it changes from one state to another, from solid, liquid to gas, or from gas to liquid to solid. All right, see you on the next video.